2.5 years ago, my husband told me that he wanted to start his own nightclub or cocktail lounge. He took a seminar here at New York Temple, and it was actually the 50 hells or 40 hells of women. In that, he chose the one hell of like businesses going under or down. And he contemplated on that. And in the back of his mind, he had wanted to do this for, I think, about a year or like 6 months. And the place he was working at before, he was mainly a fashion designer, clothing designer, brand designer, concept, artistic direction of, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's like nightclub, cafe, clothing, lifestyle brand. And he was telling them, let's move to Manhattan. There's so much opportunity. But they didn't really want to. So then we took this seminar, and he said that during the meditation, he got the green light. It was a clear voice that said, just do it. So long story short, he got the lease, and then we started building, I think 2019, December or October. And then we were set to open in March. And then, as we all know, the whole world stopped. Coronavirus happened the day we got our license to open. The entire New York City shut down. Cuomo was like, we're going into lockdown from tomorrow. And we had like an opening cocktail, just like a few, maybe 10 friends. And it was so bittersweet and weird because we were like, yay, but tomorrow is doomsday, and it was really hard to imagine what's to come. But then Happy Science knew a lot. So then I was like, uh-oh, it's over. Like before we began, we're going to go bankrupt. But then there's a part of me that was just like, it's important to just be with Savior and have a peaceful mind. So, I took many Kigans, especially the Resurrection one was the turning point for me. Prayer for New.Resurrection. But it wasn't for us only. It was for New York City because I was like, oh my God, New York is not New York anymore. And it felt like really like insane because growing up here and seeing in movies, everyone admires New York. And then, sorry, of course I cry. But it was so depressing to see New York in this state. And I just felt like it was my work to just go. Honestly, we couldn't do anything but to live every day. It was just survival. And being literally like being with Savior was what helped and what saved us. The Resurrection Kigan kind of made me feel like, and I think I also did prayer for future success as well. And I just put my faith in the future. And it was just like, it's going to be okay one day, but not soon. So what can I do now? And I think part of that salvation was to just do what you can do every day. That is what faith is, like being positive and being with Savior and just being like, well, I'm kind of grateful that I'm alive. That's cool. Like at least I know Master Okawa and El Cantare. That's awesome. So that was like, okay, then I'm okay. And even if in the spiritual message of Jesus Christ talking about the coronavirus too, he's like, it's not about just surviving in this world. It's about thriving and awakening to your spirit and your soul and to faith is a real victory. And then I thought, well, that I can do. Everything else is like literally going to hell, but that I can do. So I was like, we're so lucky to have this kind of wisdom and direct source messages from God and El Cantare that it literally, I think I broke off my attachment to life in general. I was just like, it's okay. Even if we die tomorrow, at least we had a great life. I was like, it's okay. Like, we had such a great time. So we just decided to pretend everything's okay. Not really pretend, but believe that everything was okay. And we did what we could. So us trying to do like the summertime window and the outdoor cafe, we just trial and error. And we never lost hope. And I was like, the government's not going to help us. It still hasn't helped us. We can't depend on that. So we got to do what we got to do. So we really had to just pray and keep calm. And throughout the whole process, I think most powerful strength came from him meditating every day. We really had to, because the world was falling apart around us. Even during the whole build-out stage, with being approved to get the lease or approved by the Department of Building, we had to just really pray. And I did the wealth meditation for him like every morning, especially the fear to hopes one. He was just like, could you teach me how to meditate? Because, he's a very calm person, but I can tell when he can get anxious, or, he was just like, I want to do more, but I can't. So what do I do? So I was like, there is power to thoughts. And he knows that. But I said, let's just envision everything going well and turning our worst fears of being rejected into like the best case scenario. And that gave us a lot of peace and a lot of hope. And everything kind of worked out one after another. Besides New York City shutting down, everything else was smooth. That's why we had this undercurrent of confidence. September 2020, we were allowed to open for like 7 people a night or something like that. And then shut down again in December. And then back in this year, 2021, February, we were allowed to open again. And when we opened, people started picking up on us. And then we blew up on the internet, news sources, everyone started coming out. And that's when I was like, whoa, what happened? This is insane. Like, the amount of press we had and attention we had was like very overwhelming. Like, we had 131,000 hits on our website in like 2 weeks. And I forwarded it to him, the Google recap thing. And I was like, are you not shocked? And he's like, of course it would happen. We have faith. It wasn't like faith in the business he was talking about or confidence in the business. It was just like faith in God. He was more like, of course God saw how hard we worked and we're good people. He's like, good people should prosper, but we have faith. Of course this would work out. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. This is like what I study all the time, but to actually see it play out was just like mind blowing. And then like ABC News, what was it? NBC, the Subway president came and they were like, we want to do a segment on you and give you an award called the Comeback Heroes of New York City, so that people feel happy and safe to come back to work and back on the subway. And that itself was probably on New York One News, a very local station, but that the New York Post picked up, and then Fox News called us, and then Reuters called us, an international like Japanese magazine, Italian magazine, and then Spanish Vogue. All these magazines started reaching out. Jimmy Fallon, a New York night show host, kind of made fun of us, which is a great honor. And he was, and all our friends were like, wow, you guys really made it now. And our waiting list just grew and grew. 5-star reviews everywhere, and it's just been really, really crazy. Those Kigans, really, like every month, just praying for progress, economic prosperity, hope, missionary work. I think every month prayer was also just peace inducing, a validation of faith, and even if making donation for ITH, for the movie, like financially it was not possible, but I was like, I don't care. I'm just gonna do it because it literally, if I die, it's okay, but the future is gonna be here and they need to find happy science. So, yeah. I just felt like, what are we here for if we can't help Master? So, what am I gonna do with that money anyway, right? I mean, there's always a way, and never once regretted making a donation. It always gave me peace. And, it's not like I wanted peace, therefore I did it, but it literally was my way of thanking him for giving us every day. And literally, what are we gonna do without him? And yeah, Happy Science has to survive for 3,000 years. So every donation, every Kigan is like a brick in that civilization. So for Happy Science to become a global religion, how else? So I felt very detached last year. Yeah, I think becoming more faithful and spiritual was the whole point of this crazy tornado. Yeah, and I think that's weathering that and believing that and finding peace in that is what helped us, become successful. I think we rode the wave the way we should have, and yeah, everything is just a bonus, blessing. Yeah, it's quite incredible. But at least we know it's because of faith. It's not luck. I mean, we are very lucky people. We always believe that. I always call him a lucky boy. I always consider myself a lucky person. I really am. But yeah, to be able to just keep every day with a sane and peaceful mind is so important. Yeah, just keep going. Yeah, the success is, I thought would dwindle out already like this, but it's actually like this, and it keeps going. Now I'm 8 months pregnant. I have 1 more month to go, and everything's been smooth. This baby's a very good boy, no complications, nothing. And it was just been like a blessing. Originally, I was worried about the success or not of the place, but it's totally blasted that out of the water. No worries, no stress, just peace in every day going forward, and super grateful. I feel heaven's energy and push. It's immense, and to be able to celebrate it with Happy Science and with all of our friends and the public as well is just like a very surreal feeling that I'm really, really grateful for. And to be like called New York Comeback Heroes was like the biggest thing for me, even though they probably just created it, but still it's such a great honor, because being from New York and Mrs. Master's second hometown, I was like, well, it's a great honor.